My mum has had a history of paranormal events happening to her and my uncle growing up in a particular house. Having always been fascinated by the paranormal, I grew up hearing many stories describing each of their experiences. Even from my grandmother who, I'm told, once grabbed a kitchen knife to wave in the air defiantly, proclaiming to the unseen residents that we are not leaving this house. So you better get used to it. This particular time involves an old woman of some kind that made herself known throughout the house. My grandma owned a trailer that she and her kids would retreat to on weekends for some time away. During spring break when none of the kids had school, they planned a trip to the trailer to spend the entirety of the break in their regular schedule. The entire family went to the trailer that week, locking the doors to the house and packing up a week's worth of belongings to get them through. The front of the house had a large window on the center with the door off to the right. The window looked into the kitchen and was positioned over the sink, just to give you a visual. After the week away, my grandmother returned with the kids to the house and were greeted outside by their neighbor across the street who happened to be outside. After chatting for a bit about their time away, the neighbor asked my grandmother who it was that she had come over to watch the house while they were gone. My grandmother didn't quite understand, and assured the neighbor that nobody was there to watch the house. Her neighbor then asked, "Then who was the old woman I'd see looking out your kitchen window?" A while after this, one night as my mom lay in bed, she was woken up by a consistent sound that she identified as whispering directly into her ear, as if she could almost feel the breathing. She couldn't make out any of the words she was hearing, but the whispering sounded like the voice of an old woman. Terrified, she laid as still as she could and kept her eyes tightly shut, paralyzed with fear. The whispering continued, and was followed by the sensation of an old frail hand grabbing her own. Minutes later the whispering stopped and the hand let go of hers. My mum laid still for a minute longer, in silence, until she slowly opened her eyes, to see nothing. She jumped out of bed and ran to my grandmother who was asleep in her own room down the hall.